Self, Law, and Master.
Welcome back to iSelf Law and Master. I am Empress Nkiru. I'm your director. And today we're going to talk about trust. Trust law. This is going to carry all the way until the end of this course. We're also going to go into a security agreement template that we have for you, and it's basically just a conversation between the debtor and the secured party, okay? The all caps name and, the trust or whomever you want to take control of that estate. So getting into it, trust law is so phenomenal. This is all around us every day. In commerce, we buy things, we sell things. Buying and selling every day. This is commerce. This is something that we do. But the laws that we operate under are called the special laws. We operate under special laws in commerce. On the other side of the spectrum, you have the private side who operates under the general laws. Okay, and I'm going to go into that a little more detail throughout this lesson. I wanted to give the definition of a trust before we get started so you guys kind of know what's going on. It is the arrangement in which someone's property is legally held or managed by someone else or by an organization for a set period of time. Okay, the problem is that we're not the controllers of our trust. And we do have a trust. Not the first, but there was a trust that was erected in 1666 by the Vatican and the state of London. This was when they first started to track people. Okay, and later on in the 1900s, they introduced the birth certificate. But this was important because this was a trust. This is the kind of like the hub, the umbrella that everything kind of falls under today. The United States and is under that. And this affects the whole world, by the way. Everyone is operating under these special laws worldwide. United Nations mandate all of this pretty much. Basically, today we're going to talk about the introduction of 3 different trusts. This is going to fall into lesson 3 that we're going to go into, where we're going to show you how to set up all of this stuff. So I'm going to introduce some documents, certain forms I want you guys to get familiar with, because this is going to help you down the line. So getting into it, like I said, we have the Sestua KV trust that was erected that affects everybody. We all have a trust that was introduced when we received our birth certificate. I want you guys to understand the process of what happened when you were born. So when you were born, the hospital issued you a certificate of live birth. It said live, you were alive. You took that and took it through the Social Security Administration, and you came out with a birth certificate. This was the creation of your trust. You went in alive, you came out dead. When they created the birth certificate, you became a corporate entity. So that's what we're in operation under today. You utilize your Social Security number. That is a trust. It's a corporation. It's not a real person. Okay, it's separate from you, who you are, live being. So basically, they've created that for our benefit, but we don't have control over it. So that's something that we're going to help you guys do, is to basically take back control over your trust, okay? And actually operate as a live person. I mean, you could just utilize your business to do business, okay? Don't put your real live self in the middle of artificial transactions and things that's going on. Okay, and today we have a template for you guys. It's called, we're going to erect a foreign situs trust. This is basically your family trust. This is the big trust. So if you have any assets or property or anything that you own, you always want to put it in a foreign trust where it is safe. It is safely kept. One thing I wanted to say that what we're going to get into, we're going to tell you how to get the identification numbers for these trusts, for this trust, and others later in a different lesson. And we're also going to go over certain forms. So I wanted to mention one of those forms. I wanted to also mention that when we erect these trusts, you're going to utilize a SS4 form. This is important. And I wanted to say this. You can erect as many trusts as you want. Okay, as many as you want. You can have many family trusts. You can have, there's an infinite number. So learning the process is important. learning how to do these things are important so that you can do it later, or that you can teach your children's and your children's children. This is information that has been available. It's been on the website. We just haven't learned it. We didn't learn it in school. I have a bachelor's degree. I didn't learn this in school. I took business classes, so learning all of this information now, it's like, oh, okay, I get it. Okay, so like I said, SS4 form is what you use to acquire a EIN number for your foreign trust. Every time we fill out a SS4, we want to backdoor it with the 8832. So this is just kind of something, if you don't know what I'm talking about, that's fine. I just want to kind of mention that so that it gets embedded into your head. SS4 8832. Okay, so with that out the way, we're going to get into this foreign situs trust. We have a template for you here. You can utilize your own template. If you have any legal help, you can seek that also. They can help you do that. Whatever you want to do is fine. But have a family trust. Have a trust, like I said, where everything is written down. If you have children, mention them in your trust. They could be your beneficiary. You can also have a clause where you're mentioning, your heirs or anything of that nature. Put that all in there. We're going to go through this template really quick, but quick enough to where you grasp what's going on. So this is an unincorporated business trust. And this is like setting up a business. Okay, so this is going to have shares and secretaries and different bodies to create and make up this trust. You always need three to create a trust. You always need the Trinity. You need your executor, you need your trustees, and you need your beneficiary that benefits from the trust. So a family trust is really important. Like I said, you can put all of your property into here, list your heirs, list your beneficiaries. If you have children and you want them to reap the benefits of whatever that you're building, definitely put that in here. That is important. We always want to secure the kids, the children, put them in your trust. And this one is kind of a straightforward template. Like I said, you can get your own if you want to. If you know a lawyer or somebody that does this, you can have them type it up too. That's good. We have a really good one here that I'm going to go through. So getting right into it, this private contract statement of covenants and declaration of trust organization is made this whatever day it is. And between the all caps, who is the maker, and list the domicile address. And you have a secretary, the exchanger. Okay, that's who this person is. You want to have list someone that you trust. It could be a family member, a close friend, whomever. That has to be somebody different than you. Okay, and we're gonna go through these definitions of who these people are. So you have the exchanger. I think I said that correctly. Excuse me if I didn't. Hereby offers to bargain or exchange the all caps John Doe business trust certificates on condition said certificates shall be secured by the personal property of the maker. So they're securing the personal property of the maker is who the exchanger is. And it's recorded in Schedule A. Okay, then we have the maker who accepts the offer in sum of, we have here listed 100, and these are shares. Okay, so each company or each trust has shares. I personally wouldn't recommend selling any of these shares, but this is here for you. So this is the equity in your company or that you can utilize later. These are shares that you can utilize at a later time if you want to. If you built a huge empire or something and you want to break it down, that's good. You can do that with this. You can use a different number than 100. This is just help you with percentage wise. You can use 8,000, 10,000, whatever you want to do. That's what that number is. Just an explanation. Like I said, this is kind of like what happened to Batman. They had a family trust and that was worth billions, really wealthy. And they had different, shareholders that, got together and, took the power away from Batman, the son, Bruce Wayne. So he wouldn't be able to, have all of the stake in his family's trust. Okay, so that's what's going on. That word trust is very important. Okay, the maker also appoints one or two trustees. You can change this if you want to. If you want more than one or two trustees, you get 2 or 3, 4 or 5, whatever you want. And this is basically the people that are in control of the trust. Okay, if you croak today, leave your body and move on to something else, your trust and is still going to be here. They're still going to be here. Your actual all caps, something that we didn't create, it's still going to be here. But there are people that can still run it when you leave. Your children can still run it, like I said, or people that you appoint can run it in your absence. So this is important. This information here that you put in your trust. Okay, the maker can also transfer property along with the total sum of certificate of the trustees organization, the receipt of which is acknowledged by the party's signature on this document. Okay, so when you sign it, it goes in effect. The responsibilities of this trust and shall be entitled to redeem by the principal. Okay, so this information at the bottom, we're going to look at this sentence. It says that the maker shall have no further rights, duties, or responsibilities in this trust, but shall be entitled to redeem the principal of any capital hereto for bargain or exchange capital for the value. Okay, in tune what that means is that, like I said, they're able to transfer the responsibility. So when they make the transfer, their hands is off of it. Okay, section 1 is the name and principal office, and you're gonna just list your whatever the name of your trust is. It can be whatever the name is. List that business trust after, and then you will list the street, city, and state. Scroll down, or the next page, you're gonna list the name of the trust again. And then we have where I was talking about the different shares in your trust. It actually breaks it down here. The shares of the beneficial interest. And like I said, here we have 100 units. You don't have to use 100 units. This is just a number, like I said, that's easy to kind of break down percentage wise and keep track of. Like I said, I personally wouldn't sell any of these, but it's up to you of what you want to do depending on how your trust is set up and what you have in it. And then basically 100 units, which shall represent 100 shares. So it's talking about the shares. And scrolling down, we have the transfer trust certificates. Transfer certificates by request and surrender to the trustee. So like I said, this is just if you wanted to sell anything. And everything else is just kind of self-explanatory. I mean, you can read through this. Like, you guys can read. Please read. Scrolling through. Okay, we have on page 3, it says section 16, compensation of trustees. Trustees shall receive such compensation as in reasonable and proper as specified in minutes. Trustees shall fix and pay the compensation, if any, of all offices and agents appointed, elected, and retained by this trust organization. So this is just business 101, guys. If you have a business set up, you're going to have employees and different people operating or, helping your business, and they will have to get paid compensation. And in this section, it's just talking about that. And the minutes is something, something that you keep track of. So every time you have a meeting or every time you do something for your business, you want to write down what's going on. That's a minutes. And you want to have copies of those also for your business. Section 17, powers and functions of the trustee. And this is just the duties of the trustee. So you can tweak this and, and make it, customize it how you want to. Like I said, whatever's going on in your trust or your business, however you want to set it up, this is just a template. Definitely go through, make it your own, put your own language into it. But the construct of it is set up, for you to, like I said, you need to open a bank account or acquire a loan or anything, this will help you. And we get to the bottom, the section 23. It talks about the maker again appoints a trustee. We have our trustees listed. List your trustee there. Trustee and shall signing of trust, the acknowledgement. That's basically what that's talking about. Go down. You have your maker. Sign here. Your exchange guard, like I said, that's like your secretary. That's not you. That's someone that you trust, that you want to go in that position. And then you have your trustee. I will be the trustee of my family trust. You can list who you want. And then you have a witness, okay? Have them print their name, the witness name. You can, your Schedule A, put in your state birth certificate number. Sign it at the bottom. Again, we have the maker, who is the all caps. You have your exchange-goer, which is your secretary. They sign again, and then the trustee will sign. And those three, like I said, create the trust. You always need a holy trinity. And scrolling down, we're almost at the bottom of the trust. You will list the name of, so if you want to sell any of these shares, or you want to give out shares of your family trust, you will list it here. So we have 4 slots available for you. We have it broken down, 100 shares at 25 shares a piece. You can list the people there. If you want to, it's optional. You don't have to. You can change that also. That's just kind of something that we have for you. Date it, the trustee will sign it. And then we have an acknowledgement on the last page, kind of self-explanatory. Insert your name on after the before me. You personally appeared before these 3 entities that created this trust, who provided me to, witness, and then sign it. And there you have it. That is the Foreign Situs Trust. So after you get done with your trust, you're going to keep it for your private records. If you have a safety deposit box or a safe or something like that, I would suggest keeping it there. You're also going to acquire a 9A employer identification for this trust. Like I said, it's foreign, so we want to stick with the word foreign. I wanted to point out a section that I wanted you guys to go and look at as I'm talking about a foreign trust and what it is. The IRS.gov site, type in the number 21.7.13.3.2.7. And this is the foreign entities definitions and instructions section. So this information, like we're saying, we're not just pulling this out of anywhere. This is it's been here, it's been going on, it's actually on the site. I want you to scroll down. There's a box that says definition, and then it says entity, and it describes what a foreign trust is. Okay, it means any trust other than a domestic trust described above. That's the only definition that they have. But let's break this down even further as to what a domestic trust is, okay? If you look at IRS code 301.7701, trust and domestic and foreign, it tells you clear as day that a trust is a United States person, okay? United States person. A court within the United States is able to exercise primary supervision over the administrator action of the trust, okay? And it says that a trust is a United States person for purposes of Internal Revenue Code on any day that the trust meets both the court test and the court control for purposes of the regulations and blah, 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 blah. Okay, I'm sorry. Domestic trust means a trust that is a United States person. The term foreign trust means any trust other than a domestic trust, just like I mentioned in the other IRS code. So this is in the law multiple times. And I wanted to point out one thing too. I scanned over where it says that one or more United States person have the authority to control all substantial decisions of the trust. Okay, one or more. So that one is you, and that more is them. You know, they come in and they take authority over your trust because it's domestic. It told you in the IRS.gov. It told you here, you know, that we've given them the authority to do that because we act as the minorities. You know, we act as the infants. And even when you're in court, they tell you to sit down. You were not here to speak. You know, you have no authority to speak. Why? Because you have given them all the authority. We have not taken back control of our trust and our estates. You know, so this is part of the game, man. This is what's going on. This is why, you know, we don't have any power in special laws, you know, admiralty laws. We don't have any power. You know, all of our power lies in the general laws, you know, the constitution, the state constitutions, where that real live person was created at birth with that certificate of live birth. You know, that's what we need to be operating on. That's the private side. The public side is set up for you, for people that go to public school and that don't know, you know, know, and you were educated by the system and you need help, you know, so they're there to help you. You know, they're there to handle all of your affairs for you. Okay, a lot of us don't even have a family trust. We have property, right? But it's not really secure. You know, we don't have it registered anywhere. We have it registered to the state, with the state, so the state owns it. You know, you own your house, but you still pay taxes on it. You still pay property taxes. But you own it, right? No, not like you thought you did. But creating this foreign situs trust, you can now list your property. You can now register your property correctly. You can now hold it in a private trust, because this is not something that you're gonna, you know, put out there, but they know. So how we're gonna create it with the, you know, getting you a EIN, a 98 number, that's part of the process of how you secure everything. Then we utilize the UCC, where we register everything privately. Okay, so we use that to operate on the private side. So that's, you know, information about what's going on in trust law. I'm going to get into the security agreement. Hope I gave you enough information when it comes to trust and what's going on, and the fact that we're all businesses out here, people. Even if you don't want to do business, you want to be an employee, well, you still are a business. You know, there's someone, I mean, they have human resources. Every company has a human resource department. What do you think human resources is? You know, they're monitoring you. You know, you're their property. They have to make sure that you're good. They're going to give you those benefits, and it's all set up for you to help you. You know, when you start becoming sovereign and you want to take control of your property and your business, then you can start, like we're setting this up. You have shares, you have secretaries, you have employees, you have trustees, you know, and this is all what the business that you're probably working for now is, you know, is set up like, you know, so we're just giving you the game on the other side, people. Okay, this is something that you do every day. You know, you operate in business and commerce every day. You go to work every day to fuel or put energy and build someone else's trust, someone else's family trust, not your own. You know, so this is what we want to help you set up. Let's set up and start building our own wealth. You know, let's leave something for our children, you know, that they'll have, and it'll all be secure. Moving on. Where we're going to get into the security agreement. The security agreement is basically a conversation between the debtor and the secured party, where the debtor is giving all the control and power to the secured party. We want to make this name or list the secured party, put it as your foreign situs trust that we just created. I would advise that. You know, if you want to use a different name, that's fine. But this is basically just it's a pipeline, you know, straight from whatever the debtor accumulates going straight to the trust. Okay, so we want to list that as the trust name. The trust name that you just created is the secured party. Okay, and in the security agreement, we're going to go through this. It's kind of self-explanatory as well. I'm kind of going to skim through it like I did the trust document. And like I said, this would just be a transactional conversation. So let me make something clear. This is going to be utilized with your UCC 1 non-UCC filing, and the Uniform Commercial Codes, which governs everything in commerce, everything that moves, sells, gets sold, you buy, it's all governed under the UCC. Okay, this controls everything. And the security agreement is going to be filed with your non-UCC filing. Okay, so you're going to let them know that, hey, you know, this debtor, this entity is relinquishing all control over to this trust. Okay, so now you're safe in a sense of, you know, whatever you have on the public end, whatever you have on the special law end is now getting funneled to the private end. You see what I'm saying? Okay, so getting into this, we have right in the beginning, you have your name. Like I said, the name of the secured party would be your trust name. They ask you the debtor, all caps. If you have it copyrighted, you know, I will put that, you know, trademarked, I will put that too as well behind it. We have the creditor / agent / secured party. Like I said, that's your trust name. Scrolling down, you list the address of the debtor. Now, I want to go into this, because this is something that you're going to put on your UCC1 statement as well. The address, you want to list wherever the hospital that you were born at, that's the address that you want to put there. Okay, you want to list the address where you were born at, the hospital's address, as the debtor's address. Make that clear. Wherever you were born, put that address. The secure party's address will be a different address. If you have a P.O. box, I would suggest listing that. Okay, or a business address, I would suggest listing that. Okay, scrolling down, list the date. You're going to list the all caps name, and again, where it talks about the dummy corporation, that will be the all caps. Let's see, scrolling down, you want to list the birth certificate number. So the state birth certificate number. If you don't have your state birth certificate, order it. Okay, that number that's on the top of it, we're going to utilize in a lot of different documents. Okay, so we had you authenticated in lesson 1. So if you didn't get it in lesson 1 or authenticated, you might want to go back to lesson 1, get your state birth certificate, because that number is going to be in your security agreement. So we have here, we need to list our birth certificate number. Like I said, the state birth certificate number. On the reverse, it says list the social security number, the number on the back of your social security. So there's going to be a letter, and then there's going to be numbers after it. It's in red. That's going to go there. That's your bond number, people. That is your bond number. If you don't know what a bond, these words are, we hear them here and there, but we don't really take them in like, oh, that's important. That's important. That number is listed. List your social security number with the dashes. The secure party will be listed again. So you're gonna keep putting these names in. So you're gonna list your debtor is gonna be listed multiple times. The secure party is gonna be listed multiple times. And like I said, this is just a conversation. The important part of this document, besides the agreement, and it's just telling you that, you know, all goods and things will be transferred over, the collateral list. The first sentence, it talks about all accounts. Okay, it talks about bonded promissory notes, and it has numbered, and then it will say, you know, whatever number, 1,000 through 20,000. Let's use that. In the future, you will be writing promissory notes to discharge, you know, debt that you accumulate and different things of that nature. So you want to list all of them here. Because anytime that you file something, let's say you have a bill or something and you file it with the UCC, you're going to utilize a promissory note, and it's going to have a number attached to it. Just like, you know, you have a check, and different checks have different numbers. This is no different. Okay. But to be smart and to, you know, make less trouble for ourselves, we've actually listed, you know, like I said, 1,000 through 20,000. Let's say you're at, you know, 1,200, you know, 1,200. And you're on that promissory note. You're gonna put that at the top, you know, that's what that number is, and that's the filing number. That's what makes it. So when they file it, it becomes a contract. It becomes real. It's real hard to default on something when the attorney general has signed off on it and said it was legitimately filed correctly, and it can be discharged. Okay, so that's what that's for. We also have, you also want to list everything that you own. Okay, everything that you own. Birth certificates, you want to list those. If you have children, put your children in your collateral section, put their birth certificates, their social security numbers. Make sure you list your social with the dashes. Make sure you list their social with the dashes. If you have cars, you want to put your cars in there. Make sure you put the license plate number, whatever type of make and model it is, the year. And make sure you list the license plate. Okay, and then we talk about the fidelity bond. Like I said, you're going to list your all caps multiple times in this document, and you're going to list the secure party multiple times in this document, and you're basically issuing a lien. You're putting a lien on your all caps. Okay, now you're saying we coming in with, you know, $1 trillion, $9 trillion lien, you know, which nobody's going to be able to top. Okay, so you're now becoming the first lien holder over your estate. You know, is what this agreement is talking about. Just like with the mechanic, you cannot sell the property until you pay the mechanic first. And guess what? We're the mechanic now that we've applied this lien. Okay, they cannot get to our property until they pay us first. And that's what we're doing when we apply this lien. And anybody that charges you, let's say, if you get charged by a court or a creditor or anyone, they must give you remedy. No one can just give you something, issue you something here, take this and accept it. No, you have to be able to respond and come speak for yourself. Well, for us, speaking for ourselves is this exemption account. setting this up to be able to seek and resolve the issue through the exemption account. Okay, so that's what's going on. We are the mechanics. We're applying the lien. They cannot get to it because they're not going to pay. I mean, they have to pay off trillions of dollars first. Okay, so that we can now discharge anything that comes our way. Any charge that comes to us, we can discharge it. It gets absorbed by our bond account. And that's your security agreement, okay? You're gonna sign it at the end of the document, get it notarized, and keep it close to you because we're gonna utilize it later on. This is a very important document. And us talking about trust law, that's gonna continue throughout the next lessons to come. And I appreciate you guys being here. Here at iSelf Law and Master, the pen is mightier than the sword. Thank you. Peace and love.